There's a story the NBA probably doesn't want you to know about, and it's this man, Craig Hodges. He played with Michael Jordan, won 2 chips, was there at the onset of the Bulls' dynasty. And dude could shoot. He won 3 straight 3-point shooting contests, which only one other man has done, that being this guy, Larry Bird. His sports heroes would lay the foundation for who he is and who he was back then, like Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Arthur Ashe, you get it. Then came the year 1991, when 15-year-old Latasha Harris was unalived at a store because the owner thought she was stealing orange juice. She was not. That same month, the beating of Rodney King took place. 4 LAPD officers on camera beat Rodney King, kicked him, hit him with their batons, and some 15 police officers just stood there and watched it all. King suffered skull fractures, broken bones, and broken teeth. The images of how he was after the beating were presented in court. You know how this story goes. All 4 of those officers were acquitted. And in effect, LA rioted. The mayor of LA and the governor of California would issue a state of emergency. Meanwhile, in sports, the 1991 NBA Finals would feature the Lakers and the Bulls. And thus, Craig Hodges concocted a plan with these 2 superstars, Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. He said we should protest Game 1 of the NBA Finals because of the beating of Rodney King. He also said we would stand in solidarity with the black community while calling out racism and economic inequality, amongst other things. And he would say, I knew the answer before I even went to them. And he would say the stars dismissed it. Magic called it too extreme, and Michael called it a wild idea. Hodges would basically say, we missed the boat. The Bulls would go on to win the 91 Finals. But also in 91, Operation Desert Storm was a go. So when the Bulls visited the White House, he would show up in a dashiki, and he would rain threes in front of the president. Meanwhile, George W. Bush was there, and true story, he went up to Craig Hodges and said, where are you from? And Hodges was like, Chicago. In preparation, Hodges, right here, would write a letter to be passed along to George Bush. Here is part of it, pause to read. 25 days later, Craig Hodges was cut by the Chicago Bulls. He would say, no one returned my calls. Hall of Fame assistant Tex Winter would say, you got to play overseas, so we went to Italy. He would file a lawsuit, though the judge would rule it out on a technicality. In his book, he says he had to pawn his championship rings. He spoke up, challenged the system, and never